Style Slicks, a Q&A spotlight on notable Southern style disruptors who made game-changing career moves in fashion, design, art, architecture, music, cinema, sports, and culinary arts. First up, the Atlanta creative scene. Carol Martin, model, consultant, inventor.
I think style is defined by an individual. I think everybody has their own style, and what my style might not be somebody else's, and vice versa. Example, you can put on something that looks really great on yourself and give it to your best friend, and it just doesn't look the same. So that's how I define style. For me, style hasn't changed through the years for myself, because I'm an individual, and I just always felt like I kind of kept to my own as far as my ideas and my style of how I wanted things done. And sometimes I might veer off of that a little bit, but I seem to always kind of go back to my own. I feel like I experienced success from coming up with the ideas as far as like my cosmetic surgery consulting business. They all came from something I'd done before, from the modeling. So with that, if I hadn't been in modeling, I never would have started the cosmetic surgery consulting business. If I hadn't had my cosmetic surgery consulting business, I never would have come up with the idea for my cosmetic brush, the Blend Smart. The pivotal change for me was I was getting old and realized I needed to do something else, because the older I got, the less money I was making. And you know, the time flies by really fast, and you think, oh, I'll think about something next year, and then next year comes before you know it. So when I first started modeling, I had cosmetic surgery done and had a little bit here and there. And then other people were having it done, and some of them would have it and it would be very successful, and some would have it and it wasn't. I was lucky that I really never had any problems, but some people would. And I was really inquisitive of why, what happened? Who did you see? What went wrong? I mean, and so everybody kind of had a different answer. And I realized, okay, well, maybe knowing some of this ahead of time would help somebody go through it. So I realized they didn't tell you anything going into it. Not only is that for cosmetic surgery, it's for any surgery I found. I don't care if it's your back, your knee, whatever. Physicians don't tell their patients what to expect when they're healing. And that's what I found to be so valuable with my service. I tell people what to expect before, during, and after. My transferable skill sets from modeling to consulting was having an eye for beauty, and beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. And what I would do is help these women. I could look at them and they would think they needed a facelift when really they needed their eyes done. Or maybe they didn't even need that. They just needed their eyebrows plucked and some new makeup. It was something as little as that I don't think if I had been in that world of fashion and photography that I would have ever had that skill set. I just developed it, and you just learn that you're good at it. From being in my cosmetic surgery consulting business, I would have people that are going to have their face done, and sometimes they'd have bruising. So I had a woman in my office who was going to have something done. She was really concerned about bruising, but she didn't like to wear foundation makeup. And lots of times you have to wear that to cover up the bruising. So she asked me about mineral powder. And I said, well, I don't really know anything about it, but let me go get some, because this will be a good reason for me to test it. So I buy the mineral powder, and when you apply it, you have to go like this, okay? So when I was trying it out at home, I had hurt my wrist working out. And it hurt. And I thought, well, surely there's a brush that does that spins around. So I went on the internet and went into the patent office and just researched, and I just thought, this is a great idea. And I have had great ideas before, and I never moved on them, but my gut told me that this is a good idea. So that is kind of how I came up with the idea. So my biggest challenge Well, let's just say my biggest challenge really in the cosmetic surgery and consulting business was trying to get through the doctors that they needed to listen to their patients, and they would not listen to me. A few would, but the majority of them wouldn't, and it really became very, very frustrating. And that they needed to take it to the next step to realize that their business is a customer service business. It's not like going to the eye doctor when you've got to have, LASIK surgery or anything like this. I mean, you can decide to do this or not. I mean, you don't have to do this, and you really don't have to do LASIK either, but let's just say you have to have a knee transplant or something. You got to take it up a notch, because you've got to, answer all the questions, answer questions they haven't even asked, be available to that person. And that's kind of where I came in, because I saw that these doctors, they didn't provide this. So I kind of filled in the blanks where the doctors didn't. But it was very frustrating. And to this day, it's still very frustrating that a lot of them, even the young ones, they don't want to listen. What's fashionable about Blend Smart is that in cosmetics, people don't realize it plays into fashion too. They kind of play with each other, and it changes. Things change over time, and it's all about coming up with new ideas and new products. And so I saw with my product that there was nothing out there like it, and that women are constantly looking for something that's easy. And when I had the idea for my Blend Smart, I realized that I needed information from people. So I sent out a survey and I asked, what is the hardest thing for you to do when you're doing your makeup? And the answer across the board, 100%, was blending my makeup. I could never get my makeup blended correctly, or they didn't feel like it was blended correctly. So that let me know that this was a need, that I was going to bring something that people needed. If I hadn't been in the fashion industry and been around makeup artists, I never would have known any of this. I think Blend Smart is affected by the current trends because everybody wants things done fast and they want them done good. And makeup is a skill, and most women don't have that skill. I mean, fortunately, we worked in an industry, we're around it all the time, so it was easy for us. But it's like anything. A mechanic knows what he's doing because he has the skill sets. We get put in there try to fix a car, we don't know how to do it. This works into the trend because people want it fast and they want it to work great. And that's where Blend Smart comes into working with the trends, I feel. I've had some funny moments when I would go and demonstrate the brush when I was trying to get it out there. And a lot of it was very challenging, it was very scary. But we had a meeting with a global giant, and they had these beautiful offices that overlook Central Park. And I feel like Dorothy at the Wizard of Oz, and they're shaking, and and you'd go in this room, in this like boardroom, and all these people are sitting there, and these are all the VP of this and the president of that. And so I just briefly tell them who I am and how I came up with the idea, and then I pull out this brush, and I pull it out, and I'm holding it like this, and they're all kind of going, they're looking like that, and then everybody's like snickering, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I know what y'all are thinking. And then of course the room just bust up laughing, but it was good because it broke the ice. And if I'd held up a brush head that looked like this, then I probably would have been a nervous wreck through the whole, segment of talking about it and what it did and all that. But when you have this on top of it, it just changed the mood about it completely. I don't like the word failure. I really don't. I like it as making bad decisions. I call it bad decisions I've made. Yeah, I've made a lot of bad decisions. I think when I say bad decisions is in trusting people, that I think everybody's going to be honest, and I try to be as honest as possible. And some people aren't honest, and that's very disappointing, and it can make you feel like you failed. For some, I don't feel like I failed as much as I just feel like I just made a really bad decision and I'm really mad I let it happen. For me, the measure of success is saying you did it. I did it. I wanted to do something and I did it. I wanted to model. I did it. I wanted to start a cosmetic surgery and consulting business. I did it. I wanted to invent something. I did it. And I have a patent with my name on it. I did it. If I could do anything because of the love of animals, I would be a veterinarian. What I would tell somebody if they're getting ready to make a career change is to be patient, because things never happen as quickly as you think they're going to. It is scary. It's okay to be scared, because fear will sometimes drive you to the next point. And the third thing would be, it's okay if things don't go right. You learn from them. God, have I ever done that? I mean, over and over, and I guess until the day I die. But it's okay.